Welcome to today's Twitter space. My name is Sudesh Kaka, and I work with Sudesh International, where we help forward-thinking leaders gain clarity through training, coaching, and consulting so that they may turn a profit and increase their impact. So I hope everyone, you're having a lovely day. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're listening in from. So I'm excited about this one because there's no scripts for it. There's no textbook for what I'm about to share. And tonight, I get to open up about a couple of things. So I'm excited about this. I hope you're excited. The hashtag is Int'l Tips. Int'l, E for England, N for Nigeria, T for Tanzania, R for Rwanda, E for England, Int'l, then tips, Int'l tips. That's the hashtag. In case you're hashtagging, that's it. And then our handle is @Consult Sudesh. Feel free to ask any questions or comments and or observations. There will be getting to that later in the call. So today, the topic is 10 mistakes I made in my first 3 years of entrepreneurship. And this is up close and personal, me opening up to you. And the reason I share this, not so that the mistakes might be glorified, but it is said that only a fool gets to learn from their own mistakes. Wise people get to learn from other people's mistakes. So it is important that when these mistakes are shared, you get to learn from them so that you don't make the same mistakes. That is the purpose of this call. So, first thing first, who is an entrepreneur? It looks like everyone has what their definition of an entrepreneur is. Someone will start selling tomatoes on the side of the road and they call themselves an entrepreneur. Someone will start being a taxi conductor and they call themselves an entrepreneur just because they don't have a job. But what is the definition of an entrepreneur, and the definition that we are going to be using here on this Twitter space? An entrepreneur is one who always searches for changes, responds to those changes, and exploits them as opportunities. An entrepreneur is always one who searches for changes, responds to them, and exploits the opportunities that are in. So, if you see someone open up lots of salons in your area, and then you open up just the same exact salons, you're not being an entrepreneur. You're just being a copycat, an imitator, or an idiot for that case. Or you see someone buying lots of these matatus, you also buy a couple of them, and then you do the same exact thing. You stand there, you call people, they enter, and then you drive off, they give you some money, you have some lunch, and then you take some profit back home, and you call yourself an entrepreneur. No, you're not an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is one who always searches for changes. Yeah, you anticipate which changes are going to be there, and then you go ahead and provide a solution for that. So, my entrepreneurial journey, and this qualifies me to be talking about this. My entrepreneurial journey has been quite long. I come from a background where my father was a businessman, and he was into the petrol stations and did other businesses until his time of passing. But later on, I come from that background where I've seen business. As a young boy, I used to go to our petrol station during holidays as a young boy and change oil and be there and see what the guys are doing while they are servicing cars, and stand there and see people fueling their cars. So that's where I'm coming from to speak about that. But at the age of 12, I I started. I saw a need. I saw a need, and it came out of. I go to my mother and ask her, you know what, I need some money, and she says, you know what, in the real world, if you need money, you go and get something to do. I say, how do I find something to do? She tells me, put on your shirt. I wasn't putting on a shirt. She tells me, put on your shirt, get some Vaseline, smear yourself. Let me go and show you. So we go to the neighbor, white man. I'll never forget his name. He was called Haman. Okay. So he tells Haman, this is my son, and he can he can mow your compound, and he's very good at getting the flower gardens in place. So please trust him. He needs some money. And the man was a bit apprehensive, but he ends up hiring me. And the first thing I realized, I'm thinking, oh my God, there's actually no one in the neighborhood that does this kind of thing, which goes to the point of you have to spot the changes. Now, my mother helped me spot the changes, but later I learned to see how the changes work. So I discovered the guy has a huge compound, and if I start working on this thing, I might as well do that the whole of the entire holiday. So I go get my brother, I had my cousin, so I subcontract them on the deal, and we start working. And then midway, I realized, wow, if we don't, at some point we're going to finish this business, and then we're not going to have more business. So I leave them halfway. I start looking for other opportunities within the neighborhood. So we became the guys that mow your grass and take care of your flower gardens in the neighborhood. But later, so many people, came into that business, and then were forced to find other things to do. So at the age of 12, I started that out. And then when I went in my secondary school, my early years, S1, S2, I was into, my business was seasonal. I used to sell success cards, the ones that people get before they go to, the ones that people get before they sit for their final exams here in Uganda. So I would send my money to my sisters in the UK, and then I would collect my money first term and the second term. Then I would send that money, and then they would send me the card. So third term, I told my mother, please do not visit me, because I was very busy selling cards. And then later I added on magazines, so I had to recruit a few other guys to move with me on the compound to sell the magazines, because I saw there was an opportunity there. When I came to university, I saw that ladies put on lots of shoes, and they were given money by their parents. But also something happened, that these people that put on lots of shoes, some of them did not have a lot of money. So most of the shoes that I put on were second hand. So I used to study half day, and then I would spend the rest of, I would spend a couple of hours going downtown to get those shoes, and I would sell them to the ladies in the hostels and in the halls. And then later, I also added on cleaning their shoes to get some money. And when I moved into hides and skins, if there's a business, I've done it. Okay, so that is my journey. And then I come into consulting. So I've always seen that where there's a need, that's where I go. Where there's a need, that's where I go. But all in all, I've made certain mistakes, and that's why I'm here to tell you about these mistakes, so that you can learn from them. So if you have a pen, or you have somewhere to write, I would urge you to do that, because what I'm about to share is absolutely critical, and this is stuff that is going to save you. Yes, this is stuff that is absolutely important. So here are the 10 mistakes I made in my first 3 years and what I've learned. The first mistake I made was listening to too many people. You tell someone I'm going into the consulting business, and they say, now have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? Everyone seems to have an opinion, and the most people that have opinions that don't matter are people that are not into business. Like, what are you going to tell me about business yet you're not doing business? If you know so much about business, why are you stuck at a job? Why don't you start a business like I do? I wasn't reasoning it out like that, but I listened to so many people, and sometimes most of them plant doubt, because they are looking at it from a pessimistic view. Most of the things when you start out as an entrepreneur, you do not have statistics to prove them. As a matter of fact, statistics will tell you 8 out of 10 businesses fail in their first 3 years. So if you make it past 3 years, you've done well. Yeah, that means that more businesses fail than marriages. In America, they say 5 out of 10 marriages fail. In businesses, 8 out of 10 fail. So this area has a lot of casualties. Yeah. So it is important that we get to learn from this. So the mistake I made was listening to too many people. I like scripture. I think it's in 1 Corinthians 4:15. And I think this is the Message version. It says, there are a lot of people around who can't wait to tell you what you're doing wrong, but there aren't many fathers willing to take time and effort to help you grow up. Oh, that's deep, man. Yeah. There are a lot of people around you who can't wait to tell you when you're doing wrong. People will tell you, I wish you had done this. I wish you had done that. And the people who tell you have not even done this stuff. But there are very few fathers willing to take time and effort to help you grow up. So here's the solution. Just like you have a spiritual father that helps you grow up in the faith, you need a father in business that helps you to grow up. I learned that through making a mistake by listening to so many people. By the time I got a coach, I'd made so many mistakes. So it is important for you to find that father or that coach early. All right. Second mistake I made was not asking for help early. Because I read a lot at the time, I thought, if I need it, I'm going to pick it from a book. But also coming from when you have a job, by and large, employees are told what to do. You come in, you're given a job description. I'm not a big fan of job descriptions, by the way, but you're given a job description and you stick to doing what they told you you're going to do, and you do not exceed that. When you exceed that, you call it hyper performance and all that kind of thing. So by and large, not asking for help comes from the fact that you come from an environment where you're told what to do. Yeah. Now, when you become an entrepreneur, guess what? No one is coming to tell you, oh, please wake up, be here, let's do this, let's do that. There's a paycheck, the money has been deposited, do this. No. No one tells you that stuff. You have to tell yourself, you have to manage your time, you have to manage your energy, you have to be a self-starter. No one is coming to motivate you. Motivate yourself. When you're an employee, oh my God, the motivation has gone down. We need a motivation speaker. And they bring a motivation speaker, and the motivation speaker excites you, and then they go away. When you're an entrepreneur, none of that. So I learned how to ask for help after around a year. And by then I'd lost lots of money, I'd lost lots of energy. But my ego was crushed. I'd gone through a lot. So the second mistake I made was not asking for help early. So today I've learned, and I usually tell my team, please learn how to ask for help. Don't die like a ninja. Like, it's okay to ask for help, because when you ask for help, you'll be given the help, and then you'll come out of whatever is challenging you, as opposed to just being nyoka-kun and trying to figure out things on your own. Because guess what? That is pride, like my pastor says. So those are two mistakes. The third mistake that I made was trying to borrow to start a business. Like trying to borrow to start businesses. So the first businesses I had, I did not really borrow money. I mean, you're selling success cards. You do not need to borrow money to do that. You're doing all those sorts of things. But I reached a point where I felt like I needed to borrow. Thank God, the people I went to refused to lend me the money, because and And I remember my mother telling me that she refused to. She told me, I have the money. I'm not going to lend you the money because you're too risky. Number one, I'm not sure whether the money is coming back. And if you have to borrow to start, I don't think you understand what you're going to do. Man, I was raised by a tough woman. And that's what she told me. And I did not appreciate that at the time. But never will I lend money to someone just starting out before they prove a concept. It is extremely dangerous. You would rather start with what you know and scale it. If you have to borrow to start, you're not thinking creatively. That is one thing I've learned over a period of time, and I've learned that mistake that I almost fell in has made me be smarter, and I know I have a different thinking about money and how to scale a business from one point to another. All right. I hope you're learning something. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I'm doing. Please feel free to tweet. The hashtag is EntreTips. And if you have any questions and or comments, the handle is at Consult Sudesh. Consult Sudesh is one word. Moving on to point 4, mistake number 4. Mistake number 4 that I made was doing way too much at the beginning. So I used to do, I used to do so many things. So when I registered Sudesh International Consult with a couple of partners, I also registered Sudesh Real Estate. I had a mushroom business. I was part of another business that we had started with a friend of mine, Philip, and the company still exists, but I exited the company. It's called Rivka. It deals in tires and spare parts. I was there, and if you brought me an opportunity back then, guess what? I would take it on. I was doing so many things. Guess what? I was stretched. You would never find me, in the morning, I'm working on Sudesh International. In the afternoon, I'm doing things concerning Sudesh Real Estate. Again, the mushroom guys call me. This is happening. The Rivka partners have a meeting, so I go attend that. By the time I go home, I'm depleted. I mean, my energy is gone. Yeah, and that is where I learned the power of focus. Like, focus on one thing and perfect it, and then you can add on another. Because if you try to stretch yourself too early, you'll be involved in so many things. You'll be a wandering generality as opposed to a meaningful specific. So, as you're there, let me ask you, are you the kind of person that is doing 1,000 things at a go? Yeah? Then you're wandering generality. Or you need to focus on being a meaningful specific. Okay, so that is the fourth mistake I made. Moving on to the 5th mistake that I made, and that was giving clients what they needed instead of what they wanted. Okay, let me qualify this. We've been told that the customer is the king, and I found out that that's true to the extent that they give you the check, but they don't know everything. Most customers only know what they want and what they need until when they look at it, and most of them don't know what they need. They know what they want. We want a team building. But in actual sense, when you ask them, why do you want a team building? We want to bond. There are so many people coming on. So in actual sense, what you want is a team building, but what you need is to create synergy that is going to fuel the culture so that people feel energized. That's what you need. But if I was to come and tell you that straight away, you would argue with me, because at the point you need a team building event. So I learned that you give people what they want, give them what they want, and then in giving them what they want, you can sell them on what they need, or you can even give it to them and they won't understand what you gave to them. But this maneno, you're listening to clients and whatever they tell you, you go with it. You will land in a bad place, because sometimes they don't know what they want. I like what Ford said, that people don't know what they need until they experience it. And it goes ahead to say that when people were switching from a horse to a what? A horse and a cart to an automobile or a car. He said that if we had gone to ask people what they actually wanted, they would have told us they wanted a faster horse. That's how people think. They will not tell you that we need a mobile phone. They will tell you we need a CPU that has better speed, or we need internet that can cover this, because that's all they know at that moment. So giving clients what they need instead of what they want at the beginning, that's a mistake I made. All right, so we've come to the halfway mark of the Twitter space. I hope you're learning something. A quick recap of the mistakes that I made: listening to too many people, not asking for help early, borrowing to start a business, doing way too much at the beginning, and giving clients what they need instead of what they want. I hope you're learning something and I'm enjoying this. Please feel free to ask questions as we go to the next 5 mistakes that I made. All right, so number six. The other mistake that I made is thinking that all people are good-hearted. I used to think that all people are good-hearted, that people are not going to lie to you, that Christians cannot look in your face and lie to you, or someone is not going to cheat you. They will tell you the truth. And if you're like that, you're deluded. Yes, it's okay. Be positive, have a positive vibe. But this world has good people, it has bad people. And the earlier you learn that, the better. Because you will be utterly shocked. What qualifies me to say that? In my husband's skins business, I had a partner, and this lady was even older than my mom. She had raised some money, and I fully trusted her, because you cannot have a business partner that you do not trust. So in some of I think there was a fuel crisis, and I needed to reinvest lots of money in the business. And over a period of time, I invested 50 million back in the business. Lost all the money in one day because she disappeared. And up to today, I've never seen her. So the guys at the store, we had a store in Kawempe, the guys are calling me, oh, why, Muzee? They used to, when you have money in Uganda, they call you Muzee. So Muzee, hey, where are you, Oliwa? Where are you? What is going on? So I go, they tell me things are not working out very well. So that's when it came to my mind. Suppliers asking for money. So I've gone from investing money, I'm now in debt. Why? Because I fully trusted this person. I'm not saying don't trust people, but just know that there and usually people that are not trustworthy, there are things that you can look at and you sense that, what, you better trust this person, but you better have caution when trusting those people. And over the time, I've learned that, test people. Don't just trust people with everything. No, test them. Let them prove themselves. And after they prove themselves, trust them, but verify, and look at the way they treat the money, look at the way they treat the time, look at the way they treat their spouses. Those things can give you clues on who is good and who is bad. Like for good people usually have good friends. So you look around the circle and you'll know whether that person is good or not. And then good people have high levels of integrity. Good people have high levels of integrity. When they say they will be there at 5, they will be there at 5. If they're not able to be there at 5, they'll find a way of communicating. If they tell you they're going to do this, they will do it. Even if it kills them, they're going to do it. They have high levels of integrity. Good people mind their business. Be wary of people that tell you about other people, because they will tell other people about you. Can I say that again? Be wary of people that tell you about other people, because they will tell other people about you. You know, guys who come and say, "Oh, do you know that guy? Yeah. Did you know what happened to them? Oh my God, hey, they ate a snake. They did this. Oh, hey, can you imagine?" They are telling you, but just be aware that they will tell other people about you. You know, so good people mind their business. Bad people just gossip all the time. They do a lot of name dropping, and then good people are open to learning and growth. But even after going through all this stuff, yeah, I can tell you, use your gut. You can know that, you know what, something is off here. Either someone is good or someone is bad. Yeah. Okay. So that is a mistake I made. And then the other mistake I made is staying down for too long. So I lose all this money. I'm down, and 1 month goes by, 2 months, and 3 months go by, and I'm doing worse every other time, because, you know, I cannot pay my rent. I have to move back to my mother's house and stay there, and you know, all the employees are gone, the opportunity is gone, and you're asking yourself, where do I even start from? And that what I'm about to share, if you just learn this one thing, it makes the difference in an entrepreneur's life. And you have to guard it at all costs. And that thing is called energy. Once an entrepreneur loses energy, it's called the kiss of death. Once the energy is gone, once you cannot get up and do what you have to do and exceed and hold your team to the high standards and make sure that you're going in the bad months and in the good months, that you're going, even when, you know, people are bullshitting you, you make sure you're going, you keep up and keep on. You know, when you lose that energy, you're gone, because when you lose it, you stop holding yourself to high standards. And when you stop holding yourself to high standards, you stop holding other people to high standards. And then the quality of service goes down. And then you do not demand excellence out of your team. And then everything just goes down and down and down and down. I like what John Maxwell says. He says that momentum is a leader's best friend. You have to keep moving. Yeah? When a car is moving and you put a brick in front of that car can come and go over that brick and continues moving. That is what momentum does. But if a car is parked there, yeah, and you just put a brick, that car cannot go over. Why? Because it's not moving. Yeah, you have to move to go over the problems. Yeah, momentum is a leader's or stroke entrepreneur's best friend. So it is important. Please protect your energy at all costs. And then number 8, the other mistake that I made is I almost quit. You know, the entrepreneurship journey is filled with ups and downs, especially at the beginning. In those 3 years, it is messy, and most people quit. The statistics show it. Either they go back, get a job, or they make excuses of why things are not working, or they just wallow around and they never go anywhere. Why? Because it gets tough, man. It gets tough. You know, I think in our first 3 years, we did not close a lot of business, but I had to keep the business going. You know, my partners went back, they got jobs because we did not have money to sustain us. And I had to keep the business running. You know, I had to get research jobs for medical students in the UK, and I used to do that at night. And I used to buy bundles for UTL, Uganda Telecom. They had unlimited internet, and I used to download series and put them on CDs, and I used to sell those to people to just to make sure that we get by, that the company doesn't close down. So there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into laying the foundation of all great organizations, and that's why I respect, maximum respect to each of you that has not quit on the dream, and you keep the dream going. Maximum respect to those of you that will start and take the journey through. Maximum respect to those that have stuck alongside the entrepreneurs that go out day and night and build those dreams, because it takes a lot of sacrifice initially to build these businesses. Even as it grows, it takes a lot of sacrifice. I've not taken a salary in for as long as the company has been around, but I still keep on keeping on. So I almost quit. But thank God again. Thank God. I had someone in my corner that used to tell me, you know what, you cannot quit. You have what it takes. I had a coach that used to tell me you cannot quit on this stuff. All right, I hope you're loving this. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. So that is number 8. Getting to number 9. Oh my God, time flies when you're having fun. I'm having fun with this. I hope you are doing the same. Number 9, the mistake that I made is delaying to master public speaking. What does public speaking have to do with you being an entrepreneur? Public speaking, and I use the words here, I said master, not just do public speaking. There are lots of people that talk, but there are very few people that communicate effectively, that speak to the heart, that speak to the spirit. There are very few people that communicate at that level. That's why great communicators are paid lots of money. Okay, why? Because they speak to places in you that no one else speaks to. Everyone talks, very few people communicate. Now, what does public speaking have to do with business? Now, let me qualify this. Yeah, and before I actually do that, let me tell you. So, I've been doing business for some time. I meet my coach, and he tells me, you know what, Sudesh, I like your way of thinking, but I think you need to add on public speaking. And I'm thinking, no, I'm actually good. I write very nice blogs. I'm very confident in my writing skills, and I know I can write reports, I can write proposals. I don't need this thing called public speaking. And he says, no, you need it. You need it if you're to go to the next level, if you're to go to the mastery level of you being an entrepreneur, you need to learn how to communicate effectively. I bargain with it, but looking back, I'm thinking, I made a mistake. I should have mastered public speaking early on in the game, because business is about relationships, and the lifeblood of relationships is communication. Yeah. I was checking out a statistic. I think it was yesterday. Study was done by the University of California in 2022, and they said 75% of entrepreneurs flop when it comes to public speaking, i.e. they struggle in the area of communication. And it has a big correlation with the success or failure of entrepreneurs. And they go ahead to mention entrepreneurs and or inventors that did not master this skill, that ended up being average. People like Nikola Tesla. If it hadn't been for Elon Musk, we would never know even about Nikola Tesla. Here is a man that invents an electric car. He does all these wonderful inventions, and yet he dies poor. He does not even have enough money to catch a bus. That is poverty. Yeah? Why? He could not inspire. You need to communicate. You need to inspire. Today, as an entrepreneur, I spend some time speaking to people. I spend a lot of time coaching people. And one of the skills that helps me a lot is the skill of public speaking, because I am able to articulate I'm able to invoke and get out what I want out of people so that they can become better. So it is absolutely important that you master public speaking, not just learn or talk. You're talking, everyone talks, but master the art of public speaking. Get you yourself a good coach, or get a book, get a video, learn something about public speaking, practice, and you will become better. All right, so that is mistake number 9. The last mistake that I made is many people make this mistake, and that is trying to impress people instead of serving them, i.e. being a people pleaser. You're looking for only positive compliments, and because of that you hold back candor to people, and they know you as a nice guy, but Mr. Nice Guy goes nowhere. Yeah, I learned that impressing people instead of serving them is going to cost me. I was too concerned about my public image, and when you are trying to impress people, sometimes you even downplay the value. You downplay your value. You say, me, I'm humble. What? No. Now, recently, I was on a call with executives of one of the company that we are consulting with in Tanzania, and I told them at the end of the call. So we had been having a call for a full day. We've gone through the reports, we've done this, we've done that, and I want to say, I told them, you guys, I want to applaud you for doing 2 things. Number 1, thanks for taking due diligence and making sure that you carry out this phase of the project, which very few organizations do. So I commend you for that. The other thing that I want to commend you for, and this is absolutely important, that is, thank you so much for hiring the best coach in the world. You did an amazing job. And they kind of chuckle, like one guy puts his hands in his face and they laugh. But at that point, I'm not there to impress them. I'm there to impress upon them that I know the value that I bring to the table. It's not pride. It is actually, if you ask me, it is humility. It is humility for you to know the value that you bring to the table, because if you're trying to impress people, guess what? You hold back. You fear to make mistakes. And the more you fear to make mistakes, the more you make the mistakes. And when you hold back, you don't give the value. You don't take enough chances, and you don't grow. And when you cannot grow, then you cannot serve more people. So, giving this whole thing of impressing people as opposed to serving them. And then the other thing that I used to do, I gave away too much pro bono work. These days, I don't, unless it's something that I've evaluated and it's worth it. Only then will I do it, because I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to serve you. And then the other thing was delaying to let people go. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, you have to admit that you made a bad hire, and I'm still struggling with this one. Sometimes you have to admit that you made a bad hire, and you have to let people go. So that is something that I struggled with. So it is important. It is important that you learn from these. You learn from these mistakes, and so that you elevate your game, you become a great entrepreneur. So when it comes to trying to impress people as opposed to serving them, the other critical thing that I learned, that I used to struggle with, but now I do it with a lot of grace, and I think about it a lot when I'm about to do it, and that is giving people tough love. Giving yourself tough love. Yeah, as I wish you would see me here. I wish this was on video. I have my pointers here that I'm looking at when I'm speaking, but on the laptop there is a scan of business. So I'm evaluating. I have to evaluate myself to very high standards. Yeah, I evaluate myself on so many things. I literally inspect my business and ask myself, you know, how is my team doing? You know, is my team good, bad, or ugly? How about the business partners? Are they good, bad, or ugly? What do I need to do? How about the skills that are on the team? How are we complying? Is that good? How is the sales flow? Are we having enough? Are we having enough leads to bring us business over the next 3 years, or we are slackening on that? How is the customer service? Is it good, bad, or ugly? Is it the right time for us to expand or not? How about the vendors? How are our relationship with the vendors? How are the systems and the processes? And I am always giving. There's a guy I always gives stick on my team about systems and processes. His name is Daniel. I give this guy a lot of stick about systems and processes. Why? Because when I evaluate myself, I look at the systems and processes and I see that it is not where it needs to be. And then the other thing that I get to evaluate every day is the brand, and the brand is not the logo and the what. No, the brand is the perceptions that the people have about the service that you give them. I get to evaluate the culture. Are we tolerating things that are slipping through? Are people coming in meetings on time, or are they leaving on time? Are they complaining on the job? Are they doing the bare minimum, or they are going above and expected? Are they growing as they should? Are they happy? Are they bullshitting, or they are taking responsibility? All those things. And how is the competition doing? So all those things, and then I go through this. So I hold very high standards of myself, and I hold those standards of everyone. And sometimes to get to that level, you have to give people tough love. Sometimes they don't love it. It's okay. You're not there to impress them. You are there to love them. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean that you just go so hard on people. No, you need to have a balance, but it's important for you to know that sometimes you're going to give the tough love, and give yourself tough love before you give anyone tough love. Sometimes I'll tell myself straight up, Sudesh, you screwed up, you sucked at this, yeah, and you need to fix this. Now, of course, I cannot tell that to depending on who I'm talking to on the team, depending on the relationship I've built with them. Some of them I can tell, some of them I can tell them, you know what, you screwed up, fix it. Or some of them you say, oh, you know what do you think you did here? So depending on who you're dealing with, you don't need to go straight up with them. So those are the 10 mistakes that I made in my entrepreneurship career. Just a quick recap before we wind up. The number one is listening to too many people, and then borrowing to start a business, doing way too much at the beginning, giving clients what they need instead of what they want, not asking for help early, thinking that all people are nice. No, not all people are nice. Some of them are bad-hearted, some are good-hearted. And then staying down for too long. You have to stand up. You have to get up. You have to stop feeling sorry for yourself. Okay. And then I almost quit. Yeah. And then delaying to master public speaking, and last but not least, trying to impress people as opposed to serving them. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come to the end of this, so I'll get to answer a few questions. I already see one question here from the one and only Elvis Pius Sonko. What advice do you give to entrepreneurs experiencing early success in business and feel like they know it all? All right, this is a great question. Now, the nature of business is not that when you start it's actually bad. No, because like I explained, an entrepreneur is one who always searches for changes, responds to them, and exploits the opportunities. When you start out in a business, 99.99999%, you're going to make some money initially, because there's a need that you've seen that is driving you to even take that chance and start that business. So you get success. We got success. We got early on in the game. We got success. We signed up the Airtels of this world, the Tororo Cements, the Uganda Export Promotion Boards. We signed on about 7 clients that were absolutely big. So it wasn't like there wasn't success in those years. Initially, in that first year, there was a lot of success. However, as you go on, you discover that you have to learn. You have to learn how to be humble. And by being humble, you have to know that you've just started. And the nature of people is that they will test you out once you're new. You look at all these malls coming up. Ugandans will flock malls in the city wherever there's a new mall. And then with time, they just stop going to that mall. So the real estate agent or the person that is promoting that place has to know that they have to position themselves in such a way that they will keep on attracting other people. So what advice do you give to entrepreneurs experiencing early success in business and they think they know it all? My advice to them would be, it's okay. Celebrate the success. You did well. You're an entrepreneur. You started your journey. I celebrate you. I love you. Here's the point. Be humble. Be humble. Keep your hands on the ground and always think ahead. Okay? Always be humble. Like I'll tell them, first of all, you don't know it all. You don't. And if you think you know, then you don't know. So that would be my advice to them, that to be humble and know that they don't know it all, and regardless of how much success they might experience in the beginning, they need to seek for advice. They need to submit under someone so that they can grow. Bill Gates once said that success is a lousy teacher, because it makes you feel like you know it all. It's until you lose that you get to that all I surrender moment. Even me, at some point, I felt like I knew it all. You wouldn't tell me a thing. So, but I've learned that regardless of how much success I have to stay humble. I have to step back. Even when I've just gone and I've just done an amazing project, the report has been good, the client is happy after I've given a speech, I sit back and say, what could we have done better? And my team know this. After a project, we sit down and say, what could we have done better? That is humility, because when you think you know it all, then you become complacent, then you cannot grow. There's always the next level. So that would be my advice. More light on point 6 and 7. All right, that is coming from Joab. More light on point 6 and 7. Okay, point 6 is thinking that all people are good-hearted. All right, so everyone has intuition. And your intuition is going to tell you whether someone is good and whether someone is bad. People don't intend to be bad. Actually, there's nothing like no one wakes up and says, today I'm going to be bad. No, even someone who steals, they don't wake up and say, I'm going to be bad. No, they have good intentions. But somehow, whether it's greed or they just drop their ball and they become the bad people. So in order for you, understanding that not all people are good puts you in a place to know who to deal with precaution, and who not to deal with. Yeah, some clients are not good, some employees are not good, and some business partners are not good. So it is important that you have what do you call a reality check, yeah, and know that on this particular thing, yes, we can move, but on this particular aspect, we cannot move. Then Elvis is saying, what works best in business, specialization or diversity? Shed more light on that. All right, Elvis, thanks for that. So what works? Is it specialization or diversity? Now, there's this thing of do you put all your eggs in one basket or you put them in different baskets? Like I told you, what I've learned from my experience is that, and Elvis is asking this because, there are people that have made money because they've diversified. But look at the model that they used to diversify. You look at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola started out with doing one thing. They were making only Coca-Cola, the drink, Coke, okay? The black one. And when they perfected that, because they're using the same process, then they added on a Fanta. Then they added on Sprite. And then a few years ago, I think about 15 years ago, they brought in a manager who said, okay, now we need to ask ourselves, we need to capture the market because people have started thinking that sodas are not healthy. So we have to ask ourselves, how are we going to stay afloat? And they ask themselves, what do people take throughout the day? People take tea, so they made iced teas. They take coffee. In some countries, Coca-Cola owns coffee. What do they take? They take milkshakes. In some countries, they make milkshakes. They take juices, water, all those things. So specialize, but specialize when you first master one thing and then use the same process to replicate other things. When you look at Mukwano first measured in soap and tea before they went into other things like water, into real estate, because that's how they diversify. They don't diversify at the beginning. So it's about the model that you use for diversifying. Perfect one thing, and the principles that you learn from there, you use to perfect another thing. If you're failing or if you're average at a business, why are you starting another business? The most you can do is even be poor at it or be average. So why have 3 average businesses as opposed to having one excellent business? That's a great question, Elvis. Thank you. And then Elijah, nice to meet you, my man. Thanks. Nice seeing you here. Hi, Sudesh. Thanks for the space. Sorry I joined late, but please give more light on giving clients what they need instead of what they want. Thanks. All right. So, Elijah, let me give a case in point. I invite you, and we've just leased this space. We need to do partitions, and I want the boardroom here, and I want the kitchen here, and oh my God, I want here a chandelier, I want this, I want that. So I tell you everything that I want, and then you ask me, how much is your budget? You go back, draw the budgets, do everything, and you realize that what I actually want costs me much more. Okay, so now you need to use wisdom to give me as much as I want, but in order for you to touch my heart, you have to find out what I need. So in that case, if it were me, I would listen and say, oh yeah, okay, take notes, okay, and then I'll repeat to the client and tell them, so wait a minute, you said you want a kitchen here, you need a partition here, you need this, you need that, okay, yeah, I've taken note of this. Well, just for the sake of understanding you, what rationale have you used to center on the things that you want in your office space? Okay, you see, we want a lot of light. We want people to feel like when they come to work, they are at home, want that homely feeling. That is why we're doing this and that and that. Okay, that helps me to understand you. And then now I go redesign, knowing that I'm giving you part of what you want, or I'm giving you what you want, but it should be able to speak to your heart and your needs, so that when it's done, it is exactly, you have an emotional attachment to it because it has the purpose of why you actually wanted it. People don't want cars. People want cars, but they need mobility. They need to move from one place to another. They need comfortable mobility. So the want there is a car. They go get a car. So I hope I've shed enough light on that. Usually the way to uncover, give the customer what they want, and then later you can sell them on what they need, is first understand what they want and then ask them the why question. Why do you want this? You know, when we're doing a consulting project or a training project, one of the questions we ask our clients is why do you want this culture change program, and why now? And then, you know, they will tell you the reason. Sometimes they're aware of the reason, sometimes you have to dig it out. So that is how you get to do that. All right. Okay, let me see if I have any other questions. I think I've gone through all the questions. All right, I've gone through all the questions. Thank you so much. We've gone over our time, but I know it's been worth it. Have a lovely evening, have a lovely morning wherever you are, and always remember that you have what it takes to be the greatest entrepreneur, and it's in you. Never quit. Keep going. It's worth it. This is Sudesh saying adios, muchachos. Bye-bye.